Overthinking is like a silent storm. It creeps in, clouding your mind. And before you know it, it's taken over. Your thoughts swirl uncontrollably. And no matter how hard you try to focus, they refuse to let go. It's like being caught in an endless loop, constantly revisiting the past, obsessing over the future, or analyzing every little detail of the present moment. And in this storm, peace feels impossible to find. Do you know that feeling? That nagging, restless chatter that keeps you up at night, telling you that something's wrong, or that you've forgotten something important. If you've ever been stuck in that spiral, you know just how exhausting it can be. Overthinking doesn't just waste your time, it drains your energy and leaves you feeling overwhelmed, stuck in a mental maze that you can't escape from. But here's the good news: you don't have to stay trapped in that storm. There's a way out, a way to silence the chaos and restore your inner calm. And it's not through willpower or avoiding the thoughts altogether. It's through something far more profound: mindfulness, wisdom, and acceptance. Buddhism offers us timeless wisdom, practices that have helped millions of people quiet their minds and find true peace. And guess what? This isn't just for monks sitting in faraway temples, it's for everyone. Whether you're someone who struggles with constant mental chatter, or you just want to learn how to better navigate life's challenges, these teachings are for you. In this video, we're going to explore 6 powerful Buddhist teachings that will guide you in breaking free from the cycle of overthinking. These are practical, actionable teachings, tools that will help you regain clarity, calm, and balance in your life. Imagine for a moment, what if your mind wasn't filled with constant worry or stress? What if you could find peace in the present moment? Right now. Imagine waking up each day feeling light, centered, and free from the weight of overthinking. Imagine not getting bogged down by what you can't control, but instead, embracing each moment as it comes. This kind of peace isn't just a dream, it's within your reach. We're going to start with the most essential teaching, one that lies at the heart of many Buddhist practices: focusing on the present moment. It's simple, yet incredibly powerful. By learning to focus on the here and now, we can quiet the constant noise in our heads, break free from the chains of overthinking, and experience peace like never before. So, are you ready to begin this journey toward inner peace? Let's dive into these teachings and unlock the tools you need to quiet your mind, reduce your anxiety, and start living with greater clarity and calm. Let's explore the first teaching, and take that first step toward a peaceful mind. 1. Focus on the present moment. How often do we find ourselves lost in thought, drifting between past regrets and future worries? We replay past conversations, questioning what we said or didn't say. And we imagine the many possibilities of what tomorrow might bring. We fret over what's already happened, or we obsess over what hasn't even arrived. But in doing so, we miss what's happening right now, this moment, this breath, this simple, profound existence. Buddhism offers us a different way to approach life, one that invites us to center ourselves in the present moment. The Buddha's words are timeless and powerful: do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. At first glance, this advice may seem too simple, almost too obvious. But when we look closer, we realize how deeply liberating it is. The past, though full of memories, is gone. It no longer exists except in the stories we tell ourselves. The future, on the other hand, is an unknown, an open space of possibility and uncertainty. The only moment that we truly possess, the only moment we can truly experience, is the present. And yet, how often do we allow ourselves to be swept away by the currents of the past and the future, leaving us exhausted, anxious, and disconnected from the richness of the now? This teaching of focusing on the present is powerful, because it frees us from the weight of things we cannot change. It's in overthinking, in worrying about what's gone or what might happen, that we lose ourselves. But when we bring our attention back to the present moment, we reclaim our peace. Right now, as you read these words, stop for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel your feet grounded on the earth, the air entering and leaving your body. In this instant, there is no past, no future, just you. Here, breathing. The beauty of this practice is in its simplicity. It doesn't require special equipment or a perfect environment. It only requires your attention, your willingness to let go of the noise in your mind and to embrace what's right in front of you. When we are fully present, we experience life as it unfolds, without the distractions of yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's worries. This is when we can experience clarity. This is when we begin to truly see, hear, and feel everything that is happening in our lives. As it happens, there's a story from the Buddha's life that captures this teaching perfectly. A disciple once asked the Buddha, "What is the most important thing in life?" And the Buddha answered simply, "The present moment." In those few words, he offered us everything we need to know. Life doesn't happen in the past, and it doesn't wait for us to figure out the future. It's happening right now. When we are fully engaged in this moment, we step out of the cycle of worry, regret, and fear. By embracing the present, we allow ourselves to let go of unnecessary burdens. When we stop ruminating on what has already passed, we stop carrying around the weight of old mistakes. When we stop obsessing over the future, we stop carrying the load of what might or might not happen. In this space of presence, there is freedom, freedom from the constant chatter of the mind, freedom from the grip of anxiety, freedom from the need to control everything. Imagine the peace that comes when we simply stop and breathe. Let the world fall away for a moment. Let the worries, the to-do lists, the plans, and the fears fade into the background. Right now, in this moment, everything you need is right here. No more, no less. So, take a moment for yourself. Right now. Be here, fully. Let everything else go. It's in this moment that we find the freedom we seek, the peace we've been searching for. 2. Stop fighting what you can't control. When we last explored the present moment, we discovered how much peace there is to be found in simply being here, now. But there's something else that often keeps us from experiencing that peace, our desperate desire to control everything. How many times have we caught ourselves trying to predict the future, fix a situation, or make sure that life turns out exactly how we think it should? It might be our tendency to micromanage relationships, situations, or even our own emotions. The reality is, this constant struggle against uncertainty only deepens our anxiety and keeps us from finding true peace. Buddhism teaches us a profound lesson about control. The Buddha said, "Suffering is not caused by external events, but by our attachment to them." This is a key insight. We often think that our suffering comes from what's happening around us. But in truth, it comes from the way we react to those events, especially when we feel the need to control them. We get caught in the illusion that if we could just make everything go our way, we would be happy. but the more we try to hold on, the more we tighten the grip of worry, and the more exhausted we become. Take a moment and reflect on the things in your life that cause you stress. How often are those things outside of your control? Perhaps you worry about the future of your career, the health of a loved one, or whether a relationship will work out. These are important concerns. But are they things you can truly control? The answer is often no. And that's okay. Here's where the shift happens, letting go of the need to control what we can't change. It sounds simple, but it's incredibly liberating. When we accept that some things are simply beyond our reach, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of overthinking and stress. Try asking yourself this: is this something I can control? If the answer is no, then let it go. Release the weight of worrying about it, and redirect your energy toward the things you can influence, the choices you make, how you respond to challenges, the thoughts you cultivate. The Buddha's teachings on this are both profound and practical. He encourages us to practice acceptance, not of passivity, but of presence. There's a beautiful story of a monk walking with his disciple through a forest. They came across a tree that was leaning heavily to one side. And the disciple, ever the problem solver, asked, "Master, can't we fix this tree and make it grow straight?" The monk smiled gently and said, "The tree is perfect as it is. Just like it. We must accept the things we cannot change." In this moment, the monk teaches us a powerful lesson. The tree is not flawed for leaning in a certain direction. It is following its own natural course. And so it is with life. There are things we cannot change, no matter how much we wish we could. The trick is not to fight against them, but to accept them as part of the natural flow of life. Acceptance, not control, is the key to finding peace. By accepting what we cannot change, we stop wasting precious energy trying to force things into our vision of how they should be. Instead, we focus on what we can influence: our responses, our actions, and our mindset. This shift in perspective can be profoundly liberating. When we stop trying to control the uncontrollable, we open ourselves up to a life with less anxiety and more peace. We begin to trust that life will unfold as it should, and we can embrace each moment as it comes, without the need to manipulate or resist. Acceptance isn't about resignation, it's about freedom. It's about trusting that we can still live a meaningful, fulfilling life without needing to control every outcome. So, next time you catch yourself trying to control something outside of your reach, remember, you don't need to fight it. You only need to accept it. In doing so, you'll find the space to breathe, to let go, and to feel the peace that comes from releasing what is beyond your control. 3. Simplicity is the key to happiness and peace. When we last explored the need to let go of control, we discovered how freeing it can be to release the things that weigh us down. But there's another powerful key to peace that is often overlooked in our fast-paced world: simplicity. In today's society, we are bombarded by messages that tell us we need more things, more accomplishments, more recognition. We fill our lives with distractions, possessions, and never-ending tasks, thinking that the more we accumulate, the happier we'll be. It's easy to get caught up in the chase, to believe that our worth is measured by what we have or what we do. But Buddhism offers a radically different perspective. It teaches that true happiness and peace come not from accumulation, but from simplicity. The Buddha's wisdom is clear: the greatest wealth is to live content with little. In a world where we are constantly told to strive for more, this idea may sound counterintuitive. But consider this: How often do we find ourselves overwhelmed by the clutter of too many choices, too many distractions, too many expectations? In the pursuit of more, we lose touch with what really matters. True happiness doesn't come from acquiring more, it comes from embracing less stress, less complexity, fewer distractions. When we simplify our lives, we make room for peace. Overthinking often arises when we complicate things, when we compare ourselves to others or fret over what we lack. But simplicity is a way to quiet the mind and return to the essentials. It's not about stripping everything away, but about living intentionally. We start by focusing on what truly matters, the people we love, the work that brings us joy, the simple pleasures we often overlook. When we stop the noise of excessive desires and distractions, we are able to experience life more fully. Think about it for a moment. How often do we find ourselves consumed by the pursuit of things that ultimately don't bring us lasting fulfillment? We might spend hours scrolling through social media, comparing our lives to others, or stressing over the next achievement on our to-do list. We chase after success, material possessions, and validation, believing that they will bring us the happiness we seek. But in doing so, we often lose sight of the small, beautiful moments that are already present in our lives. Simplicity, however, allows us to reorient our focus. It doesn't mean we should give up everything we love or need, but it invites us to reconsider what is truly essential. When we simplify our thoughts, actions, and desires, we clear away the mental clutter that often leads to overthinking. This process of simplification creates space for clarity and calm. It allows us to let go of the need for constant external validation and find contentment in the present moment. True peace, according to Buddhism, comes not from seeking fulfillment outside of ourselves, but from turning inward. It's about realizing that happiness doesn't depend on what we have or what we achieve, it comes from being at peace with what is. When we simplify our lives, we are better able to connect with ourselves and the world around us. We start to realize that we already have everything we need to feel content and fulfilled. This doesn't mean we should reject all ambition or desire. Rather, it's about living more intentionally, choosing what truly adds value to our lives and letting go of what no longer serves us. When we stop chasing after more and instead focus on less, we allow ourselves the freedom to experience peace, joy, and clarity. So, ask yourself, what in your life could benefit from a little simplification? What distractions or excesses could you release in order to make space for greater peace and happiness? By embracing simplicity, you open the door to a life that is not weighed down by unnecessary complexity, but instead is filled with the quiet richness of presence, contentment, and inner calm. 4. Your thoughts come and go. As we continue our journey toward understanding the root of overthinking, let's turn to one of the most profound teachings of Buddhism, the impermanence of thoughts. It's something so simple, yet incredibly powerful when we truly grasp it. Thoughts, like everything else in life, are not permanent. They come and go, like clouds drifting across an endless sky. But we often forget this truth. We latch onto our thoughts, especially the negative ones, and treat them as if they are fixed, unchangeable parts of who we are. We hold on to thoughts of regret, fear, and worry, allowing them to dictate our emotions and reactions. But here's the thing, thoughts are transient. They do not define us. The Buddha wisely said, with our thoughts, we make the world. Our thoughts shape our reality, but they do not control us unless we let them. Much like ripples on the surface of a calm lake, our thoughts rise up and fade away. They come, they go. The challenge is not in trying to control them, but in learning not to grasp onto them. Think about a time when you've had an intrusive thought. Maybe it's a worry about something that hasn't even happened yet, or a regret about something you wish you could change. How often do we dwell on these thoughts, as if holding on to them will somehow change the outcome? The more we cling to these thoughts, the more we tighten their grip on our minds. But what if we could simply observe them, acknowledge their presence, and then let them go? The Buddha's teachings guide us to a place of non-attachment, where we don't allow our thoughts to define us. Instead of fighting them or judging ourselves for having them, we are encouraged to observe them with awareness and then let them pass. This is not about suppressing your thoughts or denying them, but rather about seeing them for what they are, temporary, fleeting mental phenomena that do not dictate who we are. Imagine, for a moment, that your thoughts are like clouds drifting across the sky. Some are light and fluffy, while others may be dark and heavy. But no matter how thick or stormy the clouds seem, they always pass. The sky remains unchanged, vast and open. In the same way, our thoughts, no matter how intense or overwhelming, will eventually pass if we let them. It's easy to get caught in the cycle of overthinking, to believe that our thoughts are real and must be addressed immediately. But the truth is, most of our thoughts, especially the ones that cause us stress, are not permanent. They don't need to control us. When we learn to practice non-attachment to our thoughts, we begin to experience a sense of inner freedom. We can let go of the stories we tell ourselves about who we are or what we fear. And instead, we can simply be present in the moment. Think of the waves on the ocean. No matter how high they rise, they always return to the water. Similarly, our thoughts may come crashing in, but they too will return to the vastness of the mind. They don't stay. When we stop identifying with them, we can experience a deeper sense of peace and clarity. We are no longer the victim of our thoughts, but rather the observer of them. This practice of observing without attachment is not always easy. It requires patience, awareness, and kindness toward ourselves. But with time, it becomes easier to let go of the need to hold on to every thought that arises. And as we do, we free ourselves from the cycle of overthinking. We create space for the mind to rest and for the present moment to unfold without the interference of unnecessary worries. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who is aware of them. By letting go of the need to control or hold on to them, you open yourself to a greater sense of inner peace. Just like the clouds in the sky, your thoughts will pass, and when they do, you'll be left with a sense of calm that is always available to you. 5. Practice mindfulness. As we've explored, overthinking often keeps us trapped in a cycle of worry and stress, pulling us away from the peace of the present moment. But there is a powerful antidote to this, a practice that can help us break free from the grip of our thoughts and return to a state of calm. That antidote is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the simple yet profound practice of being fully present in each moment. It means observing your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment, without trying to change them, and without getting lost in them. It's about experiencing life as it is, rather than how we imagine or wish it should be. The Buddha, in his wisdom, emphasized mindfulness as a way to overcome suffering. He said, "Mindfulness is the path to the deathless." In other words, by being present in each moment, we step out of the endless cycle of overthinking and into the clarity of the here and now. We break free from the grip of the past and future, and we begin to experience life in its purest form, without the distortion of our anxious thoughts. So, how do we practice mindfulness? It begins with something simple. Something we all do every day but often overlook: our breath. The breath is a constant companion, always there to anchor us to the present moment. Start by focusing on the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. Feel it as it moves in through your nose, filling your lungs, and then gently leaving your body again. When your mind begins to wander, as it inevitably will, gently bring it back to the breath. It doesn't matter how many times your mind drifts. Every time you bring it back, you're training yourself to be present. This simple act of focusing on the breath is a powerful tool to ground you in the present. It's a reminder that, right now, there is no past, no future, just this moment, just this breath. And with each breath, you are reconnecting with the calm that lies within you. But mindfulness isn't limited to just formal meditation. It's a way of living. It's about bringing your full attention to whatever you are doing. Whether you're eating, walking, or having a conversation, when you are mindful, you engage fully in the activity at hand, without rushing through it or letting your mind wander to other concerns. Imagine eating a meal with mindfulness, noticing the colors, textures, and flavors of the food, feeling the act of chewing and swallowing, and savoring the experience fully. Or consider walking mindfully, feeling the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the movement of your body, the air on your skin. Living mindfully like this creates space for clarity and calm. It allows you to step away from the noise in your mind and focus on what's happening right now. Over time, as you practice mindfulness in your daily life, you'll notice that overthinking loses its power. You'll become less caught up in the worries of the past or the future. You'll find yourself more present, more grounded, and more at peace. Mindfulness is not about perfection or achieving some ideal state of calm. It's about the practice, the gentle return to the present moment over and over again. Every time you bring your attention back to the breath, to the task at hand, you are strengthening your ability to live fully in the moment. And as you continue, you'll find that the grip of overthinking loosens, and you begin to experience life with more clarity, more peace, and more joy. So, take a moment right now to breathe. Simply inhale, exhale, and be here. Let everything else fade away, just for this moment. And when your mind wanders, as it will, gently bring it back. This is the practice of mindfulness. This is the path to freedom from overthinking. 6. Embrace impermanence. As we continue our journey toward freedom from overthinking, one of the most profound and liberating teachings of Buddhism is the understanding of impermanence. Impermanence reminds us that everything in life is in a constant state of change: our thoughts, our emotions, our circumstances. Nothing is fixed. Nothing lasts forever. This realization can be the key to releasing the grip of overthinking and embracing the natural flow of life. When we truly understand that everything is temporary, we begin to see life through a different lens. We stop clinging to the past, no longer trying to hold on to moments that are gone. We stop fearing the future, because we know that whatever may come, it, too, will pass. This awareness brings us a sense of freedom, a sense of peace, knowing that even the most difficult challenges are not permanent. The Buddha taught, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. What the Buddha is pointing to here is the transformative power of accepting change. When we grasp the reality of impermanence, we stop fighting against life. We no longer waste energy worrying about what we cannot control or trying to hold on to things that are slipping through our fingers. Instead, we can relax into the flow of life, knowing that everything, good or bad, easy or hard, will eventually change. Nothing stays the same forever. This realization brings profound relief. Think about it for a moment. How much of our overthinking comes from worrying about the future or regretting the past? We fixate on what has happened or on what might happen, often feeling trapped by both. But when we embrace impermanence, we let go of that burden. We stop trying to predict, control, or resist. Instead, we can focus on what is present, what is real right now. This shift in perspective allows us to feel a deep sense of peace because we are no longer tied to outcomes or expectations. Consider the example of a flower. A flower blooms beautifully in its own time. Its colors vibrant, and its scent delicate. But eventually, its petals fall. Its beauty fades, and it is replaced by new growth. While we may feel sadness as the flower fades, we also see that its impermanence is part of the natural cycle of life. The falling petals make room for new blooms. In the same way, the impermanence of our experiences, the highs and the lows, make room for new opportunities, new perspectives, and new beginnings. This is how we can view the changes in our own lives. The moments of joy we experience will eventually fade. But so will the moments of pain. By accepting that everything is temporary, we free ourselves from the grip of both attachment and fear. We stop overthinking what has passed and stop fearing what might come. We embrace the flow of life, knowing that everything, even our struggles, are part of the natural cycle of change. Embracing impermanence doesn't mean we stop caring about life or giving up on our dreams. It simply means we stop holding on too tightly. We let go of the need for certainty and control. We allow life to unfold as it will, with the understanding that nothing stays the same forever. This acceptance brings freedom from overthinking. It frees us to live fully in the present, knowing that whatever challenges we face are not permanent, and that joy, too, will come again. So, take a moment to reflect on the impermanence of your own life. Let go of the need to control or hold on to things that are slipping away. Embrace the flow of life, knowing that change is not something to fear, but something to welcome. The beauty of life lies in its ever-changing nature. And when we embrace that, we free ourselves from the weight of overthinking. We make room for peace, clarity, and joy. In the midst of our fast-paced, often overwhelming lives, overthinking can feel like a constant companion, quietly controlling our thoughts, draining our energy, and clouding our peace. But it doesn't have to be this way. Buddhism offers us a powerful antidote to the endless cycle of worry, fear, and confusion. By embracing the present moment, letting go of the need to control what we can't, simplifying our lives, acknowledging the impermanence of our thoughts, and practicing mindfulness, we open the door to inner peace. These teachings remind us that the peace we seek is always within reach, and that true freedom comes from shifting our perspective, rather than changing the world around us. So, if you find yourself caught in the storm of overthinking, take a step back. Remind yourself that peace isn't something you need to chase, it's something you can cultivate from within. In every moment, you have the power to pause, breathe, and reconnect with the present. Trust that everything will unfold in its own time. You are not defined by your thoughts, and you don't have to carry the weight of the past or future. All that matters is this moment. And in this moment, you can find calm. Take a deep breath with me now. Let go of any tension or worry you might be holding on to. You have the ability to find peace within yourself. No matter what life may bring. Remember, every moment is an opportunity to begin again. To let go. And to embrace the stillness of the present. If this video resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe and continue this journey toward inner peace. I would love to hear from you in the comments. How do you handle overthinking? What practices or insights help you find clarity and calm? Share your thoughts with me. And let's support each other in creating a space for peace in our lives. Thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to hearing from you soon.